Hello friends, I'm glad to see you here again. Once I got my hands on a guitar of an Asian origin, a copy of ES-335. Everything was Asian. Fittings, polyester varnish, stock sensors. It sounded somehow, but I didn't really like it. And that's when I decided to go down the rabbit hole in terms of alteration and modification of guitars. This was my first project, the first large-scale project, when I began to completely remove the varnish from the guitar. And with this I wanted to test the theory. Does varnish really affect the sound of an electric guitar? I took off the thick polyester varnish and covered the guitar with a thin layer of shellac, replaced the hardware, replaced the sensors, and the miracle happened. I was delighted. The guitar began to sound like a grand piano. We even compared it to the Gibson original custom shop ES-335, and for some reason my friend, the owner of the original Gibson, was very upset. But I sold this guitar. And all these 10 years I wanted to repeat the same project. And this year, I got my hands on an Asian guitar, a copy of JUNO ES-335. An interesting enough copy, and now I will tell you how to make a fairy tale out of a cheap guitar. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, subscribe, ring the bell, like, and on my Patreon you will find even more information on painting and modifying the guitars. Write your comments, like, and now I present to you the JUNO project. Let's go! So, the guitar looks very good. In my opinion, it has an ash top on it. To be honest, for me it's a little unusual, but let's see if it's a decal. It seems that everything looks very decent. Here's the assembly. The tune-o-matic is as usual heavy, mounted on the bushing, as I understand it. Well, when we parse it, we will see more. I really like the headstock. It is very similar to the 59th Les Paul and the original EC-335, which is very rare on Asian copies. Subsequently, we will check this exactly by the template. And what is interesting, the shape of the guitar itself is very similar to the original shape of the ES-335. So well, let's take it all apart and see what's inside. We no longer need the old strings, so they can be thrown into the trash right away. So, the stocks were not handed in the wood directly as I expected, but in some small bushings, like those of modern Gibson. We will now check it out. Naturally, there will be a metric thread. Well, yeah, the sleeve is present. Usually, modern Gibson bushings are so small, shallow, somewhere around 7 mm in depth. I thought I might find them here. To be honest, I do not really like when the bridge is installed in the bushings, but if it is already installed in the bushings, then they are better left alone and not glued with wood, because it will be worse. This is a nuance from my experience. So, I think to leave these bushings after repainting. It doesn't fit very tightly. That's why it's so long. It's not even bad. I think I'll leave it be. I use even longer bolt for the tailpiece bushings. I think it will be able to rest against the wood, and the bushing will come out on its own. Come on. Come on, come on. Oh, it goes pretty. These Asian bushings are usually weak, so they are very easy to take out. They have a small knurl, and I will not use them, because we will have bolts everywhere with new threads. The neck is very clean, no cracks, no breakages. A long spike in the neck, this is very good. Oh, there's some kind of gap. It seems, oh, as usual, a slacker's job here and here. Well, let's see how this affects the sound. The sustain block is made of something like mahogany. I'm not sure exactly whether it's mahogany, but the laminate is really made of ash. Well, or from a closer wood of Asian origin. Plywood, of course, is so-so quality. Well, let's see. I think the age of this guitar can level everything. There are even cracks in the varnish. Now let's compare with the original vintage ES-330. This is the 68th year of origin, and as we can see, their shape is very, very close. Of course, not everything is the same. The ears are slightly different, but not so much that it is strike, like most Asian manufacturers. The distance from the neck to the bridge is identical, which is also very good. Yes, these ears are very different, but look at the F holes. They're very, very similar to each other. In other Asian replicas like Ibanez, I don't know precise names, the F holes seem to be cut out, as if with an axe, wide and ugly, and here they're thin, and everything is similar. This honestly makes me very happy, because the Fs is a decorative detail that always attracts attention. The thickness of the body is also not much different, just a little. The original has 43 millimeters, 43.35, and our Asian copy has 47.15. Not bad at all. Well, now is the time to check if this varnish works with acetone. Will I be able to take it off easily? Nope. In my opinion, I'm out of luck. Nothing happens to the varnish. Acetone has no effect on it. Another option is a heat gun, and I really hope it will work at least in some way. It is quite possible that some layer of this polyester will react to the temperature, and at least some of it I will remove faster. Here, varnish is heating up. Now we will check it. Okay, okay, hooray! This is very good. Very good. Look at how thick this shit is. My god, how can a guitar generally sound with such a layer of varnish? And under this red thick layer, there's still exactly the same thick layer of polyester primer layer. And it does not react to temperature, which means that I will have to use a grinder. And everything connected with it is dusty, noisy, and long. Look at this nightmare. This is horror. This is a piece of plastic. Well, we removed the main layer of varnish. Now I will continue with a grinder.
Ooh,
Wow, damn it.
Never again. No,
Screw this. It's time to install new tailpiece bushings and bolts. To begin with, I will measure the bushings and drill a new hole. Because the future bushings are a little wider, I need to bore these holes a little. And for this I will first hammer them in with pieces of wood and drill new wider holes so that the centers wouldn't move.
Твою мать.
Aluminum tailpiece is lightweight. Beautiful. The template from the 59's Les Paul head came up perfectly. Just perfect. I did a little miling. And now I will mark the future of my logo. To see exactly where I should do the inlay. I will apply the same frame that I do silk screening. Then this paint can be wiped off or painted over. Doesn't matter. Now we have something to attach to. There will be an 8 in this place. Very well. The 8 sits down very well, quite tightly. It's the desired depth. I will glue it onto a fairly liquid cyanoacrylate. And then I will make a mixture right on the spot from gas soot and the same cyanoacrylate. Such as superglue. Since gas soot reacts very quickly with cyanoacrylate, it is not possible to mix this mass in advance. It will immediately solidify. It's better to do it directly on the inlay. Well, I thought it would be good to fill the pores of the ash with the filler, because the pores of the ash are very deep. I think this will help me to make more even layers of varnish. Therefore, according to the already worked out recipe, I made such a massive filler with red pigment at the same time. Now all this must be thoroughly wiped off. The procedure is rather dirty, but in the end we get a very beautiful tone. I removed all excess filler with toothpicks and cotton swabs. Well, you can make additional alterations in 2 days, when the oil hardens and is absorbed, and the pumice powder will easily begin to fall off. Well, what a beautiful tone turned out. Yes, something interesting. I have not seen such a color yet. So friends, the first layer. I already filled the first layer. It turned out to be quite transparent, so I will add some more color. The main layers have already dried up. Now you can get rid of the masking tape from the banding. I usually use masking tape, although it takes additional time, but with further repaints, if they happen. Oh well, if you use the method of ordinary scraping off the varnish from the bending grows thin, and sometimes it might end badly. Next, I'll add the details with a scraping tool. To smoothly scrape the polish off the bending on the fretboard, I'll just attach a ruler, which will be my guide. So, let's start pouring the finishing layer of amber varnish, which will bring all the color together. It will become much deeper. I have a lot of colors and shades prepared, so that everything is at hand, with precise consistency. So, intermediate sanding of amber layer. After that, there will be 2 additional coats of liquid finishing varnish, which will spread well and give a full gloss. Since I am trying to cast a thin layer, a snag has occurred here. A little of black color has been sanded off, but now it can still be corrected. There will still be a layer of finishing varnish, so I'll just paint over with this black marker. The guitar is well matted. We can pour the last layer. Well, let's start preparing for polishing. The guitar has been drying for 2 days now. Now you need to get rid of all small influxes so that everything is clear, matte, and polish again. I will sand the edges of the frets at 30 degrees, like they do on Gibson. I have this special fret grinder. This helps us to do it quickly and easily. For matting, before polishing, I use 1000 grit sandpaper. You can use even finer ones, but I use a fairly coarse-grained paste which removes any scratches well enough and does not give you a full gloss. But such a semi-gloss is very suitable for a relic. Since I like to experiment, on this project there's just an opportunity for me to check how the grinder works. I have circles that are quite soft, with a grain size of 1000 grit, 1000 and 2000. Let's see how they work with water. To be honest, practically they don't. The varnish just became a little mate. Well, this method can be suitable for relicing, to slightly matte a very glossy varnish. A very interesting process of silk screening. The part of the stencil that I will use for printing, I will simply seal with tape, and it will not allow the paint to pass through this place. The frame rests against the fret, so everything is clear and easy. Well, everything is ready. Looks not too bad. I think it will dry up by tomorrow, and I will be able to assemble the guitar. In the meantime, I'll wind up the pickups. Finally, JUNO is almost finished, and all that remains is to solder it, install the pickups, do the wiring, and in the next video I will show you how to do it. Because soldering the ES-335 is not easy, there are some nuances. Therefore, if you have not yet subscribed, do it. Those who have already done it, thanks to my patrons on Patreon, you motivate me. You give me the mood. Record new videos. I want to ask my subscribers on YouTube to write in the comments what experience you had with modifying inexpensive guitars. What results did you get? Are you satisfied? Or did you have any negative experience with such projects? Because any mistake is your actual education. If we learn from them, we do not make them in the future. So this is a very useful experience. Write about it in the comments. I read all the comments and try to reply to everybody, with some rare exceptions where I simply don't know what to say to some people. I say goodbye to you, but not for long. Until the next time.